When you change the battery in your Audi A6 key fob, you might need to reprogram it. And that's because sometimes, your open door button and your closed door button, including the boot open button, might still work. But when you hold down, the closed door button and the open door button, all four windows in your car may not go down, so you might need to reprogram it. What we're trying to achieve is to ensure that when we hold down the open door button or the closed door button, for more than 3 seconds, all four windows should come down or go up, okay? So the next step would be to replicate, the issue experienced, at the car, and, propose ways in which we could rectify or troubleshoot, the problem. So I will be showing you how to reset and calibrate your key fob for your windows and what might not work, as different models have got bespoke requirements with regards to how they can be programmed. So this typically should work for an Audi A606 to 11 and for other models. If it doesn't, just work through some of the troubleshooting steps and it might help rectify the problem. So here we've changed both batteries in both key fobs, but they aren't running up and down all four windows. The close, open door buttons as well as the boot button still work. And when you turn the key clockwise in the door handle, it opens the door manually. And when you turn it anti-clockwise, it closes the door. So you can see that all, the buttons work manually, and, when you take it out the door, it still works. But when I hold down, the open door button and the close down buttons for more than 3 seconds, it should pull down all four windows. Or open all four windows with the open button, but, they don't work at this stage. So to program it, we'll just go through simple checks. So turn it anti-clockwise and it locks the door, and turn it clockwise and it opens the door. So we're going to try to use the ignition to program the keys. So I will just run the open and close positions, again, as it can be different in different models, where the open and close are in the opposite orientation. So here I'm pretty confident that the clockwise is the open position. And now that we are in the hot seat, the litmus test or the first troubleshooting step would be to try to program the keys with the ignition. So I will hold the open door position, stick the key in the ignition, turn it clockwise and listen in for a faint audible sound. Replicate the process by holding the closed door position and listen for a faint audible sound as well. The next step would be to turn the ignition to the standby mode in the clockwise orientation and pull down, the power switch, on the window, pull it all the way down and hold it down for more than 3 or 5 seconds. Toggle the switch either way. So this is the downward orientation. The next step would be to toggle the switch in the upwards orientation and hold it upwards for more than 3 or 5 seconds after reaching its full line of travel. If this doesn't work, replicate, or repeat the process steps. Okay, so turn the key clockwise on the standby mode. Then press the driver's open window button down. Then give it a double or a triple click when the window's line of travel is all the way down. Toggle the switch, replicate the process, and when the window's line of travel is all the way up, give it a double or triple click upwards. Take out the key from the ignition and let's test out, the movement of all four windows. So when I press the open button down incessantly or continuously, all four windows come down at the same time. And when I press down the close button on the fob, all four windows go up for the entire line of travel length. And once calibrated, the programming sequence syncs to the other key fob, and you can see this also works as well without having to replicate the process or without having to repeat and reproduce all the process steps. So if you want to get all four windows down manually, you would have to rotate the key clockwise and anti-clockwise, but not necessarily in the conventional manner. But you would need to press the lock button whilst you rotate the key clockwise in the open window position, and then tap on the lock button 3 to 5 times in the open orientation, and then subsequently press down the open button whilst you rotate the key anti-clockwise in the closed window position. Tap on the open button 3 to 5 times, then spin the key clockwise through its full line of travel. All four windows come down at the same time, and when you rotate the key anti-clockwise, all four windows come up at the same time too as well. So this is how to work all four windows manually. But mind you, because this is a manual process, if you try to replicate the same process over again, you might just sound the alarm of the car. When this happens, do not be alarmed. The alarm will beep out to run its course twice. You will still be able to open and close your door manually, but the open and close buttons will not work when you press the open and close button down. Neither will all four windows come down and up when you press the lock and the open button. To rectify this, get the key back into the ignition, start the car, let the engine run for about 10 seconds, turn off the ignition, step out the car and, press on the lock and open buttons a couple of times, and that should recalibrate or reprogram your keys. And so that is what is been done here. So I'm pressing on the lock and the open buttons, okay? And straight off you can see that the alarm, the LED red light there starts flashing, and that tells me that everything's working fine, and that should recalibrate your keys. Okay, the lock and the open buttons on your keys should start to work. All four windows should start to go up and down as well. And that's about it really. If you found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share, helps the channel grow, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye.